Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will be sharing my time with a member from Winnipeg North. Mr. Speaker, I rise today in the Chamber in support of Bill C-26, an act to authorize certain payments of the Consolidated Revenue Fund for the purpose of improving housing supply. At its heart, this bill is intended to make it easier for Canada to build more homes and the kinds of communities where people can truly live. For many Canadians, housing is not an abstract policy issue. When we think about housing, we must consider it as the starting place for the way Canadians imagine their future, where workers can live close to their jobs, where seniors can remain close to their communities and age in place, and where young people can rent, own, or raise a family. This is an issue that even my preteen son is thinking about, and how he can remain in the city he loves. It comes as no surprise that global economic pressures have reshaped the housing market. Rising construction costs, labor shortages, and wages that have not kept pace with inflation have all contributed to the challenges we face today. We know that without secure housing, it is impossible to plan for the future, to build stability, or to fully participate in Canada's economy. I see this clearly in my riding of Spadina Harbourfront. Spadina Harbourfront is one of the densest communities in this country. It is a riding of high-rises, condominiums, cooperatives, rental buildings, shelters, supportive housing, student housing, and seniors housing. This is a place where people live vertically. They share public space, rely on transit, walk to work, gather in parks, hang out at Stacked Market or the Waterworks Food Hall, One Love Market, Sugar Beach, or the Island Cafe, and build community in ways that are deeply urban and deeply Canadian. In my riding, I see the beauty and possibility of density every day. Density can mean a senior is better able to live closer to healthcare, groceries, and neighbors who can check in. It can mean that a young person can walk to school or work. It also means that families can share playgrounds, libraries, community centers, and waterfront spaces. Just this last weekend, the waterfront was vibrating with excitement as we welcomed the world for the FIFA World Cup, with thousands cheering for Canada right from their condo balconies and watching the crowds gather in the streets. We could live in communities with less sprawl, stronger transit, and more vibrant main streets. Vertical living can work when we plan for people instead of units. We see examples of this across our community. Harbour Square, for example, has long shown how vertical communities can include shared services, including shuttle services that help residents move through the city and remain connected. Across the riding, we see buildings where neighbors organize, support one another, share amenities, and create a real sense of belonging. This is the kind of city building we should be learning from. Mr. Speaker, we also know that the best housing solutions do not come from government alone. They come from housing cooperatives that show us that affordability, stability, and community ownership go hand in hand. They can also come from organizations like EVA's initiatives, which supports young people experiencing homelessness and remind us that housing is not only about a roof, but about safety, connection, trust, and the chance to rebuild a life. And they come from thoughtful public planning, like the work of Waterfront Toronto, which has shown that when we build with intention, we can create communities that include housing, transit, parks, public space, climate resilience, and access to water. This is the vision that we need more of in Canada. Not just buildings, but more homes where people feel they have complete communities. Mr. Speaker, the housing crisis has also placed enormous pressure on the construction sector. In the Greater Toronto Area, new home sales fell to just over 5,300 units in 2025, the lowest level in more than 45 years. That slowdown has already led to job losses in the skilled trades and construction sector. These are the very workers that Canada needs if we are going to build the houses people are counting on. Approximately 80,000 people are leaving the GTA because of affordability pressures. A study by Altus Group for the Building Industry and Land Development Association found that without urgent action, nearly half of all residential construction jobs in the region could be at risk and housing starts could fall by more than 60% compared to 2024 levels. So we must act in order to protect housing supply and keep skilled workers on the job. We must make it easier to build quickly, and to build well. Through Bill C-26, our government is proposing to provide $1.7 billion to provinces and territories immediately so that they can implement measures to increase Canada's housing supply. This funding is designed to help remove the barriers slowing down home building, including by lowering development charges, fees, levies, or sales taxes on new homes. It also supports efforts to harmonize rules, improve internal trade, and increase productivity in the residential construction sector. At a time when the housing market is under real pressure, this bill will keep projects moving, maintain construction activity, protect skilled jobs, and unlock the homes Canadians urgently need. Mr. Speaker, fixing Canada's housing issues will require a wide range of solutions, and above all, close collaboration. No single order of government can solve the housing crisis alone. The strongest housing systems are built when public, private, nonprofit, and community partners are all at the table. We are already seeing what that collaboration can look like. In March, the federal government and the province of Ontario signed a historic partnership agreement to build homes, transit, and communities, backed by $8.8 billion in joint funding over 10 years. This agreement supports housing-enabling infrastructure and helps reduce the cost of building new homes. It includes support for municipalities that reduce and maintain low development charges. This includes an HST rebate to incentivize new home construction and support for major transit projects to connect people to jobs and services. Ontario's removal of the full 13% HST for eligible buyers of new homes, valued up to $1 million for 1 year from April 2026 to March 2027, is one example of what this kind of partnership can make possible. Through Bill C-26, our government has agreed to cover the 5% federal portion of that HST relief. This is a practical measure because it supports near-term construction activity while longer-term work continues to lower the cost of building homes. Since that announcement, new home sales in the GTA have begun to recover. In April alone, approximately 1,100 new homes were sold, nearly triple the numbers sold during the same period last year. In Toronto, housing and infrastructure must be planned together. That is why investments like the Waterfront East Transit Project are so important. This project will connect communities such as East Bayfront, the Portlands, and Oakland-Minising. It is not only a transit investment, but a housing strategy. Good transit helps unlock new neighborhoods and connects people to work, school, childcare, and community. It supports the construction of thousands of new homes in places where people can live with dignity and connection. We are also moving forward with Build Canada Homes, an ambitious initiative to accelerate home building across the country, including transitional, supportive, and deeply affordable housing. This program includes a $13 billion initial investment, the development of federal lands, support for factory-built housing, and measures to preserve long-term affordability. It is already supporting thousands of new units and has the potential to deliver tens of thousands more. The legislation before us will give us these efforts the flexibility and tools they need to accelerate delivery, take on risk responsibly, and build the housing Canadians are counting on. In a city like Toronto, where affordability remains one of our greatest challenges, this kind of relief can make a meaningful difference. It helps more buyers enter the market and supports the construction of the homes we so urgently need. That is why this bill is so important. It is a measure that has been called for by housing advocates, including organizations like Build, and represents a clear win for builders, workers, and residents in my riding. Mr. Speaker, Canada's housing market is going through a period of adjustment, but that does not change the reality that we are facing a structural housing supply shortage. Our government has been clear. We will build more homes faster and more boldly. Bill C-26's purpose is to support housing supply, protecting Canadian jobs, and maintain capacity in the construction sector. By acting now, we can keep construction activity moving, retain skilled workers, and ensure that builders can continue to plan and launch new projects at a time when that continuity is critical. Mr. Speaker, the housing crisis did not happen overnight, and it will not be solved overnight. But the choices we make today will shape the future of housing in this country for generations to come. Our government is here today working to provide Canadians with the tools they need to build that stability. Bill C-26 is one important step towards that goal. We are taking meaningful action to address one of the most pressing challenges facing Canadians today. We are working closely with provinces, territories, and municipalities because we know that collaboration is essential in a moment like this. In Spadina Harbourfront, I see every day that density can be beautiful, that vertical living can be full of community, and that good planning can help people build real lives in the heart of a city. This is the future that we should be building towards. For that reason, I urge all members to support Bill C-26. Thank you.
Questions and comments?